Hi there, Kemi. Nice to see these new essays from you. Nice to see you working hard in order to prepare for IELTS. So let's see what you have done today. Schools, entertaining or merely educational? Let's see what you said. Education is the bedrock to success in the modern society. Students have many opportunities and gadgets to keep them amused outside of school. Schools are formal grounds for knowledge and skills enhancement. I believe that the main goal of the school should be to educate students in developing their skills and maximizing their potentials. For this reason, this essay will argue, with specific reasons and examples, why schools should be purposeful in educating students. Okay. You could have probably cut out one of these sentences. I think maybe there's a little too much here. There's really no reason to have such a long paragraph. In fact, an introductory paragraph, I should say. In fact, you really want to kind of keep your introduction and your conclusion to a fairly short length. This way you have more time to develop your body paragraphs, and that's where the real crux of your essays are, and that's where your real focus should be, not so much your introduction, okay? So, oops, sorry. There we go. There it is. Okay. So, grammatically it's fine, but like I said, I did feel like you had some short sentences here that you could either linked together better or, as I already said, maybe gotten rid of one of them and then sort of reshifted your sentences a bit. All right. Now, just to prove my point a little more, look at this. Your introductory paragraph is 5 lines, and so is one of your body paragraphs. So that's a definite thing that I want you to work on. Oops, hold on again. I mean, these should definitely be considerably longer than your introduction and your conclusion. Okay, so excuse me, keep that in mind for your further essays. All right, students spend a maximum of 6 hours in school a day. This is a fraction of what they spend at home, where they have access to all the entertainment they need. Schools are designed to help students learn skills that cannot be acquired outside the institution of education. For example, many schools employ professional and specialist teachers to help impact, you don't mean impact, you mean impart knowledge to students. It is therefore important for students. What? It is important for students. Okay, I guess you have made a typo. To maximize their time in schools, engaging in educational programs and projects. Okay, so there's a couple things missing for me here in this paragraph. Let me tell you what they are. They are things that will fall under the heading of coherence and cohesion. So the first thing that's missing for me is a topic sentence where you're introducing what this paragraph is about. Okay? Something for me like there are valid reasons why schools should focus only on education. Okay? And then you can start with something like this. I felt like a lot of your sentences were rather short and they weren't really well linked. Now, some people really overdo it with cohesive devices, things like firstly, secondly, thirdly, secondly, furthermore, moreover, and whatever. You have not done that. But I do think that there needed to be some better connection between your sentences in this paragraph. You did it very nicely here. Okay? But here, you could have said, let me show you what I mean. So this is a fraction of what they spend at home, where they have access to all the entertainment they need. On the other hand, schools are designed to help students learn skills that cannot be acquired outside the institution of education. And then this was fine, but I'm not really sure how much this sentence really helps you either. Okay, so what you could have said here was something like, rather than focusing on the teachers and specialists and professionals and so forth, you could have focused on the topics themselves, like, like physics, which are taught through experiments, and history and language, which are, taught by high-leveled people who have in many cases masters and even PhDs in order to help students learn these things. Okay, let's move on. Furthermore, the current education systems are not free. Many good schools are privately, LY, owned. Therefore, parents need to pay a lot in tuitions to give their children quality education. On the average, in Australia, university students pay as much as $7,500 every semester. Similarly, high school students pay about $5,000 per annum. Thus, focusing on educational curriculum while in school is preferred. Okay, again, I'm going to tell you that I wanted you to develop this paragraph a little more. You needed to explain to me how, in some way, the money is somehow related to this. You say focusing on educational curriculum while in school is preferred. Why? Because I'm paying for it, and so I should have just kind of dry lessons for my child. How are those connected? Like, how do you justify the price as being an explanation for why schools should just educate without any entertaining value in it? So that's what I wanted you to talk a little bit more about. Okay, let's move on. In summary, while it is important for students to be entertained, there are many opportunities outside the school period for that. Therefore, to conclude, it is important for students. All right, again, it is important, it is important. Look, it is important, it is important. So let's change the vocabulary a little bit. So therefore, to conclude, students must maximize the opportunity of professional support within the school environment, considering how many fees are being paid. Therefore, careful. The sole purpose of school should be to educate students. Okay, so you had a lot of repetition here. It is important, therefore, twice in one little paragraph. I still think you could have reduced the size of this paragraph a little bit more. You could have done it in 2 sentences and make it a little more kind of condensed. Okay, I think you definitely needed to develop your paragraphs a little more and be a little more aware of linking them together a little more seamlessly. All right? Another thing that I'm going to just kind of throw out there for you is that maybe you should have discussed why some people think schools should be more entertaining. Why would they think that? Why would there be this debate about this issue? And the reason why I'm saying that is that, look at this. You're saying it's important for students to be entertained, but you never really discussed why. Why is entertainment important? What does it do? Does it perhaps have some sort of educational value as well? Okay, so you could have discussed that in this paragraph a little bit. All right, so just some things to think about. I'm not telling you that, oh, it's a problem with this essay, but it's a thing that I want you to think about as you begin writing. Okay, so let's take a look now at your second essay. Okay, skills. This is the same kind of thing here. Look, they're making a comparison. Enjoyable activity compared to reading. So there is an understanding that they expect you to discuss the value of reading as well. Let's see how you deal with this. The phrase environment is the third teacher was coined from many years of research into child development. This means that a child learns more by interacting with the things and people within their immediate environment. Therefore, I completely agree that a child will develop more useful skills and more creativity by doing activities he enjoys, not they, a child, or he or she, you could have said here, than through any form of formal education method. No, just any form of formal education, full stop. All right, but be careful here because it's not what they're saying. They're not saying this or formal education. They're saying that if you have the opportunity to either read or do an enjoyable activity, which one will promote skills development in a child and creativity? Okay, so it's not about formal education. Consequently, this essay will discuss with examples why children develop better skills through activities than direct reading. Okay, fine. Children learn through playing and interacting with adults. This is especially common in young children because they do not have the literacy skills required to read. Therefore, it is impossible to learn through reading. According to the social learning theory by Baldwin, children acquire and develop their cognitive and social skills mostly through modeling the adults or primary caregivers, we usually say, no? In their lives. Thus, by engaging in stimulating activities with children, they are able to acquire skills needed for development. Okay, this is confusing. Who is doing stimulating activities with children? The adults or the children? And then who is this they here? Okay, so I think you mean something a little different here. I think you mean thus. Yeah, because the way you wrote it, it's as if the adults are able to acquire skills. Do you see that? I hope you do. Okay, so this needed to be rephrased. Okay, furthermore, in many instances, children do not have the vocabulary to express their feelings. However, we don't start sentences with but. However, by engaging in creative activities, children learn to express their emotions and opinions. Research, right? Research never has a in front of it. You can either say a, study, or you can say research. So, research by an Australian child psychologist showed that children learn to replay events in their lives through role-playing. So, let me try it again. Research by an Australian child psychologist that children learn to replay events in their lives through role-playing rather than through any structured educational programs. Through play, children are able to reenact what is happening in their environments, try to understand it, okay, and learn how to interact respectfully with it. Thus, children are able to understand and learn more about their environment through enjoyable activities than through reading. In conclusion, children enjoy learning. However, they are not cognitively developed to learn through reading. Thus, engaging in enjoyable activities that stimulate their interest is the best way to help a child develop needed skills and sharpen their creativity and interest in learning. Okay, well, it certainly sounds like you know quite a bit about this topic. You made a reference to an expert. You showed that you had some knowledge and information about this topic, and so that's really helpful. That's great. I want to talk about more from an IELTS perspective, though, about this essay. I really liked all of it. You can see that I corrected some grammatical things and some vocabulary things, but I didn't really correct anything else as I was reading it. I really wanted to get to the end to see what you said. I have a concern here that you really focused on children from a pre-reading age. Like here, you said they do not have the literacy skills required to read. So you're assuming that we're talking about, preschool children and younger. The essay the prompt does not imply that anywhere. So I felt like you kind of limited yourself in your development by focusing just on these preschool age children. And here as well you did that, because the essay doesn't talk about that. It says doing an enjoyable activity with a child. So it could even be school-age children. I'm not sure why you decided just to talk about such a young age group, because the essay didn't imply that. Having said that, it's very well written. I already told you that. The vocabulary is very good. You had some really nice high-level vocabulary, possibly because you are very familiar with this topic, so well done there. Your paragraphing was better here, okay, even though I still am going to tell you that I want to see these shrunken a little bit. Your introduction this time, not so much a conclusion, that's a better length, okay? And remember that because you only have 40 minutes, you'll have more time. If you kind of reduce this, you'll have more time to develop your body paragraphs better, okay? So now what you need to do is correct these essays. You need to return them back to us corrected. You will obviously use this video correction as a guide for your corrections. Then you also need to make an error correction list where you write down the mistakes that were pointed out to you. And then next to each mistake, you will write what the suggested corrected version is. Put that in a file. and send that back to us as well. And of course, your new set of essays. Try to do all of this within the next day or so that you can really apply everything you've been learning. Okay, so thanks very much, and I'll look forward to your next essays.